Welcome back to Factorio building the Hyperbase. Okay, we have advanced a little bit since last time. This is our low density structures build. One of 4 of them, which should also be able to provide for satellites, but I know that this build up here, we actually need all of it to build the RCU, so it can't be used for satellites. We will need to build that separately. But certainly with the advent of this, and I mean the bits that I added, I finished off obviously one of these steels, though it would be worth noting that this area here is struggling to keep up, but I'm not entirely surprised. The thing is, this is kind of built with the intention that we're going to do a lot of infinite mining research to bring it up to speed. I mean, we'll eventually probably even go loading directly from miners once we're high enough, but that's a long way away, and obviously area like this wouldn't really work terribly well, so we'll have to think about how that might work. But yes, you can see that the miners, there's plenty of robots for the volume of material that's getting produced, but it is taking quite a while to fill the train, and so our steel trains patiently wait. This one's not quite full, but there is resources around, so it is filling up. Probably will get full, and then it'll be easier to pick up the others once that's done. I know that I need more than just one of these to support each one of these. I mean, we want 22 sections in all, and that's 4 sections the way I'm looking at it. So certainly there's not enough steel supply just from that one. I also hooked up the copper and the plastic with a very long train trip up here. Now that looks bad. And probably is bad. If this one wants to go, that's pretty bad, so excuse me, or if this one wants to go or come back, that's pretty bad. So we actually should probably stop it down here, but when this one goes, there's room for this one to get through, so it's not quite so bad. But yes, we probably want it to actually stop all the way back here if possible, rather than all the way up there. Certainly when this one moves, which should be very soon, this one here is light. What is the problem? There's plenty of pressure. There's no plastic in there. Alright. How about full cargo inventory or inactivity of 30 seconds. There's no point waiting for that last one to fill up. We just need you to get out of the way. That moves this one. This one wanted to go anyway, so... Oh no, that's the plastic, it's not the fuel. And there you have it. Now everything's moving again except for this one. But having this starting to fill up was enough to get the coal out of here, and that will get this one moving again. We should probably give this one the same deal, or an activity of 30 seconds. Well, no. Stupid thing. That'll be faster than the plane, I think. It's a very long way up here, in case I hadn't mentioned that before. Just back off to there, that will do. Get this train back into its station. Good, the coal has turned up again. That one. There. Now, it's going to be very hard to see which one was empty, because unfortunately there we go, it's this one. Unfortunately, you can't actually tell what's in these until you actually sort of click on them. So this car is a little bit empty. If we give it a bit of extra coal, that will help equalize things perhaps. Perhaps, who knows? Anyway. The point is that this train is basically able to the one stop is for now it's enough to feed our requirements in terms of making the LDS. The LDS is actually finished. The train is full. The requested chests are full to their requested limit, so they could fill another train immediately. So the thing that we're going to do right now, before we go any further, is we are going to see about getting a jet. So this cargo plane is very slow. Whoop. Right, pick you up. Now, what do we need for the jet? We need this one. 200 low density structures, which probably means we have too much of that stuff. 200, alright. There we go, 200 low density structures. I'll fly back to the main base and we'll sort out the rest of what we need. I'll fly slowly back to the main base and sort out the rest of what we need, because that's more or less the thing. So yeah, looking forward. So how are we going to get this base up and running? We need to address the issue that we have in terms of how quickly we are rolling out the functionality that we're building, and one of the things that is slowing us down is clearly the power grid. We're only able to build power at a certain rate, and we can't really expand beyond that, otherwise we'll get brownouts, which are never a good thing, even though, I mean, it will more or less recover. Given that we're using solar, it will just mean everything runs really slowly for a while, and we'll slowly get on top of it, but we're better off not getting to that point. And travelling around the base at this sort of speed isn't helping either. So, but anyway, power is one of them. Another one is just our ability to build stuff. We're just not building things like bots and beacons fast enough, I guess. So it'd be nice to accelerate those builds. And what else? What else are we facing? I guess that's it. If we could accelerate those things, we would certainly be able to start cranking things out a little bit faster. I mean, obviously modules keeps holding us up, but not as badly as you might think now with the new module build. It's not running at anything like its maximum capacity. It's only running occasionally when it gets a load of processing units. So let's put you here. Now, I don't need 3k of those. In fact, I'm going to auto trash most of the rail to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of some of those, get rid of that. Just so I've got a little bit of space. So what else do we need here? We need 256 electric engines. Wow. I might actually need to get just one of those, not 50, thanks. Are you able to bring me just one? There we go. Okay. So you're going to build me a jet. To do that, you want all of those. Now, let's get our 256 electric engines. We've overshot, but that's okay. I'll put some back in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. More than 145 too many. There we go. What else? Green circuits and advanced circuits. 120, alright. Good. Now, submachine guns and rocket launchers. I don't think I actually make those. So, rocket launcher iron and green circuits. Let's take a few of these green circuits back. Iron gear wheel and iron plate. Rocket launcher 1, 2, 3, and submachine gun. We're missing iron gear wheel. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's taking my iron off me. Right, so you need those and those. If it ever finishes. And after this, of course, we need to build the afterburners, probably. I'll probably start regretting not having a proper make everything factory here, if I haven't already started regretting it. But the nature of how we've set this place up doesn't really lend itself particularly well to a make everything. There you go. Alright, let's get this stuff out. Now, the other things that we need are things like the afterburner. 350 kilowatts. How much does that power? 750. So we need one of those for every 2 of those. Okay. There's our very sexy jet. It does have a little trunk space and the grid, so we can fit one fusion reactor or two fusion, so one fusion reactor, which is 250 processing units. I guess we'll just have to pick some up. From here. 250, huh? Whoops, that's a bit too many. And make one of those. And we will want a couple of these. Solid fuel. And lubricant. Oh, okay, so we can only make these. Where's the lubricant? There's the lubricant. You need solid fuel. Might have to interfere with the rocket fuel process to get some of those. We want 2 of them. How much do we actually need? We need 10. Solid fuel. Okay. Let's try out this new baby without its afterburner. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Get around our factory a little bit quicker. Ooh. Okay, woo, it's down here that we want to be. Oh, looks like we need a few more modules in here, but I need to redo this one anyway. So, solid fuel, 50. Oh, 50 again. Alright, well it looks like we're taking 25. And back we go. So what else do we put in this thing? Maybe, well, better brakes would probably be a good idea. Okay, grid. I guess that's it. And a small trunk. Alright. That's our new way around the base. Now, if we are to try and... Oh, and by the way, look how much solar we've already built. It's progressing at a decent rate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 6th row. We've almost completed the 6th row. Sort of an inverse L at the moment. That's very, very good. But I would like to accelerate the building of that by getting some dedicated solar underway. As part of the build for our satellite. So it's 800 solar panels and 800 accumulators that we're going to need. Yep. 800. Alright, let me just see what that means in terms of a few things. So, these guys, can you take... No, I didn't really think you could, but it's worth trying. And I'm guessing this one can't either. No, it cannot. Alright. So, yes, we're going to need 800 of these every minute. Which should be faster. Oh. Oh. At the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 machines. That's basically 6 a minute per machine, 60 a minute. We're going to go to 800 per minute. That should definitely speed up the laying of our solar. Now, if we're going to go to 800 a minute, we're going to need about 12,000 green circuits, which is a hell of a lot. Yes, a hell of a lot. Let me just see what each of our green circuit thingies are able to build. Slow down. Those are smelters. Whoops, down. Okay, so it's basically a crafting speed of 8. Half a second. So that's 16 a second times 1.4 per machine. 16 a second times 1.4 times 60. Each machine is 1344. So we don't actually need that many green circuit machines for our solar needs. 12,000 divided by 1344. So there's 9 green circuit machines for solar. Except we do have this issue where these are not going to provide quite enough. That's okay, we have 10 of those. So, 9 green circuit, 10 copper cable. What else do we need? We need 400 steel and 400 copper. Not to mention, and this is per minute, not to mention what we need to feed for the copper cable machines and the green circuit machines, which is quite a lot of stuff as well. And how many solar panel machines do we need to make 800? Each one is 6. Let me do that calculation. So 800 divided by 6 per minute divided by, I think it's 11.25, which would be 12 machines dedicated to solar panels. Now, to get 400 steel... No, 4,000. It's 800 of each, right? Is that right? Yeah, 8... Why? Oh, we're looking at solar panels, right? We need 800 solar panels. So that's 4,000. 4,000 steel, 4,000 copper. Okay. Let's run down to where we do steel. Wow, slow down. Okay, yes, you're very fast. We know you're fast. Congratulations. So, the steel. Each machine works at 13.4 because there's only two productivity is only 20%. And it normally takes 17... and the crafting speed starts off at 2 times anyway, and it takes 17.5 seconds for one steel normally. Alright, maths. 4,000 steel divided by 60 seconds in a minute times 17.5. Okay. Now, divide by 1.2, divide by 13.4. That's basically 72.5, which is a terrible number. 72 would have been an awesome number, but 72.5 is a terrible number. That's an awful lot of steel. It's an awful number because we really wanted it to be multiples of 6. And 72 obviously is. I guess what I want to know now is, does all the steel I've calculated out, have I included enough for the solar panels? Because I may have done. Uh, 6, 12, 24, 48. That could be what the 2 extras are, because we basically need 2 of these setups to supply that steel. We're not going to be supplying it all in one thing. Where are we again? Here. I think that's all we need the steel for. So yes, 2 of those are probably dedicated to our 2 setups for solar panels. 4,000 copper, on the other hand, should be a bit easier. I mean, the equations are basically the same, except that we have, let's just jump out of there, get out of that noisy thing. Um, 23 in one of these setups. So if we need 4,000, I guess it's again 73, but we've got 23, 46, 69. So one of these setups would be enough copper with a little bit left over. Wow, it's a lot just to feed the solar panels, isn't it? I guess it's necessary though. But this is just a half measure. Well, what about if we include the green circuits as well? So the green circuits, 3 copper cable, 1.5 copper plate, so that's 18,000 copper plate per minute. That takes it to 22,000 copper plate per minute. 22,000, actually it's not the same multiple because these guys are 5 times as quick anyway. So it's normally 3.5 seconds. So 22,000 divided by 60 times 3.5. Divided by 1.2 divided by 13.4, and it's basically 80 machines. So one of these setups, just the top half, would be sufficient for the copper for the solar panels. What about the iron? The iron will be 18,000, so the iron will be a little bit less. I hope this is making sense without being confusing, guys. So instead of 79, we could divide that by 22 and multiply by 18. We'd need 65. 65 plus 12 plus 10 plus 9. Equals 96. 24. We could potentially smelt all of our iron ore at source, so we'd have iron ore coming in. We would have copper plates. We would have steel plates. And we'd have solar panels going out. It would have to be 24. Instead of 23 wide, would have to be 24 wide, but that should be fine, especially when there's a lot of internal delivery going on. Yeah. Alright, let's have a look. This area is basically dedicated to make steel for the LDS. If I went over this way, and I don't even know what's up here, but we could potentially draw on these sources to make solar panels. We actually have some ridiculous oil amounts. Okay, that one's never going to exhaust with or without bonuses, and that one's also insane. So we could potentially make our accumulators here as well. What do accumulators need again? 5 batteries. And 2 iron plates. Iron, copper, and sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid for the processing units that we need in these. Maybe. Let's stick to solar just at the moment. So we would need 800 accumulators. So that's 1600 iron plate and 4000 batteries. The batteries break down to 4000 iron plate, 4000 copper plate, and 20 times 80,000 sulfuric acid. And the sulfuric acid probably needs a little bit more copper and stuff, doesn't it? Sulfur doesn't. Yep, we need more iron plate up there as well. So 80,000 divided by 50. Another 1600 iron plate. It's still not actually that much. It's 7200 iron plate. 4000 copper plate. And a bunch of sulfur. Okay. Would it be better if it was all just combined into one facility? It is possible. It is possible. We're kind of looking at a half copper facility, which it's fine for just the solar, but it's not fine for both of these guys. What else is there in solar in these things? Oh, there's the processing units, isn't there? That's going to use quite a lot of extra copper. I don't think radars really matter much. Whoops. Some electronic circuits. Guys, I might do a few more equations offline. It might be getting a little bit boring just looking at equations. Because we do kind of want to work backwards from a solution. So let's pause here and I'll come back to you with an answer. And back. And I think I've got a bit of a plan now for this build. What I want to do first is, this is the LDS build. I want to get a blueprint of this. Oops. If I can get control of my plane for a second. Right, that's about where I wanted to get to. This is just so. I might just run now. I think I've lined that up with that, which is actually fairly dumb. No, I haven't, but it's probably even more dumb what I've done, but never mind, it will have to do for now. So there's the second. We need 4 of these. One. Is that in line? Let's just get some infinity zoom. Make this a little bit easier to line up. Three. Four. Right. So, if that is where all of the LDS gets built, let's get some more infinity zoom. The 4 LDS. So, satellites that need some LDS occasionally should probably, there's, should probably be sort of down here-ish. Let's just get rid of some of this junk. And the way I think it should probably work is there will actually be rails coming through on the top, or it could actually be the bottom. Doesn't really matter, in fact. And I haven't actually worked out how I'm going to get a solar train in here just yet. So maybe I actually want a special solar train. Up there I actually have the right length for one of these now. Then we are going to need a row of roboports. Then I want, let me grab another blueprint. I basically want the internal part of this, except we are going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, basically we're going to need 5 internal rails. So I guess on that basis I should probably just take that amount. Like so. And then, oh yep, we've got our roboports, so we can place our 5 sets of internal rail, which naturally enough don't line up particularly well. Actually, I now have this twice, it looks like. That's the length without the train station. This is the length with the train station. Let me just... yeah, it's unusable gap. That's unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like not in this order: batteries, steel, iron, copper, LDS. Up here we have probably sulfuric acid and satellites down the end, and this one for picking up solar. So that's kind of how that works. And then we can do that again. And that's about it. The solar train, not entirely sure if up there's the best place. I guess what we're going to do is have the bulk of this be green circuits. Which would be copper cable, green circuit, copper cable, green circuit, finishing with copper cable. So 9 plus 10, so that's 19. That would leave us about 4. 4 down one end, which is 8, which is not particularly useful. We could make those processing units, but really that's not ideal. do I rip this pattern apart? Because I need red circuits in here as well. And my preferred red circuits pattern, of course, is this one up here. But I need 11 red circuit machines, so it doesn't really lend itself particularly well. Because this is 8. It won't fit the pattern especially well. So I would have to have an alternate pattern. Which I guess we can have. Yeah. I need 11, but I could probably... Oh, could I make do with 12? No, I probably couldn't. But we could do... We still could do 11. We could have one extra... or 2 extra copper cable machines. So... It would basically be, so this could be a copper cable, this could be a copper cable, and then you could have red circuit, and one additional red circuit, and it can pick up copper cable from these copper cable machines, and then up the top the same for those 4, and just these 3 being red circuits. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, that would give me the red circuits that I need. Then I need 12 for solar panels, 12 for accumulators. I mean, we could just go from here, so that takes us to 15. Where am I going to do the processing units? Would pay for them to be close to green circuits. So really, if this was going to be green circuits, those 8 should be processing units. But we are still getting, I mean, there's traffic all the way along here. Worse than traffic that just comes up? Probably not. So I might just actually have the processing units in here, so that's a 6 and a 6. To make 12 processing units, and then 12 solar panels and 12 accumulators. 6 and 4 is 10, so I might whack like the 12 solar panels along here and the 12 accumulators up here, so this would be 22. There'd be 1 left at the end here and 2 left at the end here. So basically this one here would be satellites. Maybe this one would be best as satellites, and this could be gear wheel moving into radar, and I think that covers it and fits this pattern basically perfectly. And guys, I think what I'm going to do is run back to base and build this out, but I will do it between episodes. Well, certainly not in this episode, because I think we've had enough time in this episode. So thanks for joining me in this one, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye bye for now.